All right, guys, it's that time again. Oscars 2024. This one right here was nominated for Best Picture and Best Original Screenplay. Do I agree or disagree? How do I feel about the film? Let's talk about it. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for my past lives movie review or movie recap. And if this is your first time finding me and you happen to like the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. All right, guys, like I said, we're talking Past Lives. It came out in 2023 last year. It is PG-13 and is 1 hour and 45 minutes. And if you have no idea what the film is about, Nora and Hae-sung, two deeply connected childhood friends, are arrested apart after Nora's family immigrates from South Korea. 20 years later, they are reunited for a fateful week as they confront notions of love and destiny. Now, this film is being directed and produced by Celine Song, and if you did not know, this is her directorial debut and is loosely based on a true story as far as her life is concerned. That is one reason why it is also being nominated for Best Original Screenplay on top of Best Motion Picture. Now, as far as my expectations are concerned, I had none whatsoever, just thinking that this film must be great because it is being considered for Best Picture for the 96 Academy Awards. I saw the film, of course, and before I did my review, before I hit record on this video right now, I did check out a few other reviews. That's typically something that I never do because I don't want to copycat what somebody else says, but I was compelled. I couldn't help myself in this situation because I just wanted to know how other people felt as soon as this film ended for me. Everyone I looked at was saying, oh my gosh, this movie is perfect. It is a 10 out of 10. It is one of the best movies of the year. And to be honest with you guys, I don't feel that way at all, not even remotely. Now, I am not saying that this movie is not a good movie. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not saying that it's trash or garbage. That is completely false. This is a good movie. This is a great movie. But for me to say that this is the best of the year, I'm really having a hard time saying that. And to be honest with you, on the flip side, there's not too many other films that I can say that surpass this one. It's just that this film, Past Lives, did not blow me away. And especially when it comes to the performances between the two main leads who are being played by Greta Lee and Teo Yo, if I am pronouncing their names correctly. Now, right now on Rotten Tomatoes, it is at a 95% out of all the critics and an 84% from the audience. It doesn't mean that all the critics felt that this was a 95% out of 10, no, or a 95 out of 100. This just means that the critics, or at least 95% of them, liked the film, thought it was good, thought it was great. And for something to be rated fresh or good or great with Rotten Tomatoes, it just has to score a 6 out of 10 or above. And at the very least, I will give it that film. Now, as far as this being the best of the year, that did not hit me until the last 30, 35 minutes of this movie. That's when I was at the edge of my seat, like, oh my gosh, this is great. What is going to happen between these characters? And something that I really did like is when the film opened up, and I will be talking spoilers, guys. So if you haven't seen this film, turn away right now. I'm going to spoil it up, down, left, right, in, and out as if you've already seen it. That is your warning. But I did love the way it started off because you have these two main leads that I just named, plus another Jewish American character by the name of Arthur in a bar at 4 a.m, drinking, getting along, having a decent time. And there is some random couple somewhere in the bar that is looking upon them, just trying to piece the puzzles together, having a game. People play this all the time. Like, who are these people to each other? And the couple, the group of people that were speculating got it wrong. They was like, okay, it's two Asian people and a white man. Maybe the Asian woman and the white man are a couple, and the Asian man is the Asian woman's brother. That is incorrect. They also thought that the Asian couple was together and the white guy was a friend or the white guy was a colleague of some sort. That is incorrect as well. And they just don't know how to piece these characters together. And then we go back 24 years in the past to see how the two Asian characters met as children when they were 12 years old, or at least their relationship. Now, when it comes to one of the main characters being played by Nora or Na Young, I really didn't like her character. She kind of annoyed me, to be honest with you. And that's just because when the film started off, she's a 12-year-old girl and she's whining, she's crying because her friend Hae Sung is beating her in an academic contest, and she's whining, she's crying about it. 12 years later, when these two people meet up, they're bonding over Skype messages. Mind you, she is the one that hit him up, and just because he is not able to get on a plane and go from Korea to New York to see her, it'll take him at least a year and a half. She wants to cut the communication off and not talk at all. And that's how they're lost again. And then another 12 years in the future, I think she is madly disrespectful to her current husband, Arthur, who is the Jewish American. Now, in my synopsis, I did read it on IMDb. I don't feel that that's quite accurate. It's basically Past Lives is the title of the film. And what I get from that is, what would have happened if this would have happened in the past? We all have past lives. These two characters, Hae Sung and Nora, are best friends. They're soulmate sweethearts as children. And because of their parents, they are separated at a very, very young age. And at that young age, they really do like each other. And they're each other's sweethearts. And all of their lives, they're just asking themselves, like, man, what if we would have stayed together? What if we never would have parted ways? What would our lives have been? Will we be together? Will we be married? Will we have children? Will we have lived happily ever after? Or would we have just been friends and just kept it at that, some type of platonic relationship? And one of the great things about this film is at least everybody, for the most part, can relate to this in some way, shape, or form. I know that I can, and that is one of the reasons why it did bring me in. I did talk about the performances. I did not think that they were just fantastic, knocked me out of the park, blew me away, but they were still good at the very least. And when it comes to Oscars, not only can the film be good, whatever category it's being nominated for, it has to blow me away. The performances nor the film blew me away. The performances didn't, but the film did in the last 30 minutes. And again, I will get to that. But like I was saying, I think everybody can relate to some situation like that, to where you're just like, man, I didn't know this person a long time ago, no matter what age we were, but I'm always asking, like, what would have happened if we never would have parted ways in our past lives? And so that's just the main premise of this film. Now, I really did appreciate the bonding session that they had in the middle of the film when they met via Skype. One of the things that did kind of turn me off was it did seem like it was very easy for Nora to look up Hae Sung in Korea. I mean, there was no effort at all. The first attempt that she made, she just Googled his name one time and he just popped up on his father's Facebook movie profile. They should have made it a little bit harder, but I'm not going to make a big deal out of that. But one of the ways I did connect with the characters in all these moments is they did bond over Skype, over a somewhat of a montage. And I did like that. I did appreciate it. That was good filmmaking, in my opinion. So credit to the director as far as that's concerned. But again, me going back to Nora's character, she did annoy me just because she couldn't get on a plane to go to Korea to see Hae Sung, and he couldn't come over to New York. She was a writer and wanted to win the Pulitzer, and she wanted to have a nice foundation, a nice life in New York, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I was just a bit upset because she wanted to see her childhood sweetheart, and as soon as he was like, I'm not able to come see you, okay, I don't think that we should talk anymore. And she broke his heart after they was bonding, you know, for a number of weeks, a number of time through the Skype messages. So that really did bother me. Something else that I really did appreciate is, and the director said she did this on purpose, that every time that Nora and Hae Sung was walking, they were walking from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen, giving visual representation that they was going into the future. It wasn't towards the very end to where when she was walking him to his cab, his Uber, that they was going left as if they're going back into the past. I did notice that, but I didn't know the reason until I did a little bit of research, and I thought that was very, very nice touching as far as the directing is concerned. And even when they were in the West Village in New York, walking on the harbor, on the docks, you notice that there was always couples around them in the backdrop to suggest some type of love or something more than a platonic relationship in between them. I thought that was a nice touch as well. Now, it may seem like I'm crapping on Nora, but to give her some credit, at least before she did get married, she did send an email to Hae Sung, but he didn't respond. So she did try to see him. And if you do have feelings for somebody else, I think that you should explore those before you get married, which is a lifelong commitment. So credit to, her in that situation. But unfortunately, the brother didn't respond and he missed out on the situation. But that was just because he was in a relationship. He had a girlfriend at the time, and apparently he did not want to disrespect her. So I can respect that. Getting to the last 12 years of the film, where I believe they are around 32 years old, Nora is now married to Arthur. They just got back from Canada to visit her family, which they migrated or immigrated to, and they're coming back to the States. They're coming back to New York, and they've been married for some time. I honestly do not feel like she really did love this man. Even Arthur himself called her out on that when they was in the bed, when he was a bit jealous of Hae Sung, when he was showing a little bit of insecurity. She didn't necessarily validate his feelings or make him believe that her love was true, genuine, and pure. She kind of just gave him deep stares like, yeah, you can't compete with Hae Sung. He is my childhood sweetheart. We do have a better story than what me and you have right now. She said, I loved you at the very end, but it took a lot of convincing from her husband. And that was just a telltale sign for me. I think she just married Arthur because she wanted a green card. It was convenient. He even said himself, like, okay, the only reason we slept with each other is because we was in the same house and we both happened to be single. And then we both ended up living in New York and we needed to be roommates because that would save money. And also you needed a green card. But here I am, the white guy, coming in and interjecting myself into your childhood sweetheart's relationship. No, I don't fit into the picture. She didn't want to admit it, but I think in those moments she knew that was the darn truth and she didn't want to hurt him. So shame on her for even getting into the situation to begin with. Man, I am not going to be marrying a woman until I just absolutely know that she is just down for me and nobody else, not just because we're lonely and it's convenient and you can make me come up in the world. And they did have a conversation as far as that's concerned too. So I'm really glad that was put into the script because it was obvious even if it wasn't said. But what made it good, what made it juicy is when Hae Sung did come to New York and the husband met the childhood sweetheart. The sweetheart, Hae Sung, met Arthur, and Arthur met Hae Sung. My goodness gracious, it was so much tension in the room, it made you uncomfortable. When two men are supposed to meet like this, the husband is supposed to be secure, like, hey, how you doing? My name is Arthur. I am Nora's husband, yada, yada. How was your flight? How was your trip? It was like 35 seconds of awkward silence, like, oh, yeah? He's sizing them up. It's a language barrier between them. I was like, oh my gosh, why is Nora even putting these men in this situation? And I don't blame him for feeling that way because he knows that his wife is checking for her childhood sweetheart. Like, oh, they talking like, does he find you attractive? I think so. Do you find him attractive? I don't know, but I have all these feelings and I feel this way. And I'm just like, man, this is crazy. And when they was at the bar, when things circle back around from the beginning of the film, which I said the other random couple to where we don't ever see or hear from it again, when they were speculating, trying to figure out the couple's relationship, she had her back towards her husband the whole time and was just having a one-on-one conversation with her childhood sweetheart while her husband is back there looking like, what about me, guys? Don't forget about me. I'm lonely over here. That was really ridiculous. And they was talking about him too. This guy right here, her husband, Arthur, it would have been better for him just to be in a whole completely other dimension, a whole nother reality universe, because that is how she was treating him in that moment, whether it was on purpose or not. And even when they was in bed, I'm talking about Nora and Arthur, he said himself, like, look, when you dream, you do not dream and speak out in English. You dream in Korean, and I have no idea what you're talking about. This is like a whole aspect of your life that I'm completely locked out of. But you have this connection with your childhood sweetheart. He knew what the deal was. And I mean, I kind of felt sorry for him, to be honest with you. I mean, You know, I don't know. They didn't really show him propose or anything like that. But again, I'm not finna ask no woman to marry me unless I know that she is 100% down for me and nobody else. And so that circled back around to at the end. And when Nora finally walked Hae-sung back to the cab, to the Uber outside, they looked at each other with this deep stare, this unconditional love, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to lose you again. I thought that was gonna kiss. I'm over there thinking that Arthur is looking out the window, looking through the peephole, peeking around the corner, like, what y'all doing over there with a flashlight or something like this? And I think they were, but the Uber pulled up at the right time and blew the horn. He drives away. Hae-sung is like, hey, what are we going to do in our next life? She walks back to her husband crying. This was uncomfortable, but that's when the movie was the best, the last 30 minutes. I mean, it was a good movie at the same time, but I'm going to be honest with you, it did not blow me away. I don't think that this deserves to win the best picture at all. I think that's going to go to Oppenheimer or Poor Things, which is another crazy movie. Oh my goodness gracious, check out my review for that. But yeah, I mean, it was a good movie. It was great. It just didn't blow me away. I don't think this film was perfect and, you know, all of that. But all films are subjective, guys. All films are subjective. If I had to give this a rating out of a 1 out of 10, I can give it a solid 7.5 or 8 out of 10. It didn't blow me away. I really didn't just love this movie until the last 30 minutes. Prior to that, I was just like, okay, you know, this is somewhat entertaining, but I wonder where it's going. So guys, the Oscars is going down this Sunday, March 10th in the evening time. I don't know exactly when, but the next day, Monday, March the 11th, I will be going live on my YouTube channel to do an Oscar recap. There you go right there, March 11th at 6:30 p.m. CST. At the very least, I will be going over all 10 films that were nominated for Best Picture, you know, Best Animated and all the other categories as well. But at the very least, Best Picture. There are other films on my channel that I have reviewed for the Oscars as well. You guys can go check that out. At the time of this recording, I have The Holdovers up, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, and I'm going to be doing some others as well. It's just not posted on my channel at the time of this recording. I'm almost at 50,000 subscribers, guys, like 150 away at the time of this recording as well. So hit that subscribe button, help me reach that next milestone. I would really, really appreciate it. But make sure you come back again Monday, March the 11th, 6:30 p.m. CST. It is going down. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is B. Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace. And I'll see you next time.